everybody and welcome back to my channel, or welcome if you're new here. Hi, I'm Gina and on this channel I talk all things sewing and dressmaking. In today's video I am talking about everything I made in 2025. I made over 25 items last year. It was actually one of my least productive sewing years and it was a roller coaster. There were a lot of highs, but there were quite a few lows. There's some pieces on this rack that are my favorite makes of all time, and there are some pieces on this rack that I don't love so much that I'm going to find new homes for or repurpose. Everything I show you, I will pop videos of me wearing them if I've got them, and I'll also pop any tutorials for anything down the description box below, because quite a few of these I've filmed and have got full tutorials for here on my YouTube channel. I'm also going to rate everything out of 10 based on how much I loved this garment after I made it and how much I wore it, and give you some general thoughts and feedback about everything I learned from what I made this year. So let's get stuck in and go back to January last year, where I started the year with a major sewing fail. That was fun. You might have seen the video. It was a dramatic start to the year, that was for sure. I had this vision of making this kind of velvet and lace boho dress, and the more I worked on it, the worse it got. I hated this dress. It was horrible. And one of the things I'm learning about going forward is the colours that suit me. And I made this in this really beautiful navy and blue with pink floral velvet. And it was very, very cool toned. And I've learned that I look much, much better in warm tones. So the fabric wasn't helping me out, but the whole idea of it just blew up in my face. It was really not cute. I did, however, manage to make the best of a bad situation and turn that into a really beautiful off the shoulder long sleeve Vogue top, which I absolutely loved, and that's one of my favorite patterns of all time. But I have actually passed this top on now because the colors still don't suit me and I couldn't really see past that. So I'm going to give the sewing fail a -10 out of 10. But the top that I finished with, I'm going to give it a 6 out of 10. I love the pattern, I love the way it looked and fitted, but it just didn't really suit me colour-wise. On to the next make of the year, and something a lot more positive. This is a Vogue pattern. I can't remember the number off the top of my head, but I will pop all the details down the description box. I love this dress. I attempted to make this in a day and nearly pulled it off, and I've worn this so much. I reach for this every date night. I've even styled it during the day with sandals and things like that, and I just absolutely love the colours. I know leopard print isn't for everyone, but it is for me. I love a bit of leopard print and I absolutely love this dress and this pattern. I'm planning on making this pattern again this year because of the amount of wear that I got out of this particular dress in a floral or maybe even a plain colour. I am going to give this dress a 9 out of 10. I love this one and it's going to be in my wardrobe for a very, very long time. I don't know if I've got everything in exactly the right order, but I think this was the next thing I made. I call this my curtain jacket. You might have seen it on this channel, and I love this piece. It's such a talking piece. It's such a statement. The fabric is amazing. It is one of those pieces that you can chuck on with an all black outfit or jeans and a t-shirt and it just makes it. I love it. The only issue I have with this jacket now is it's a little bit too big for me, a little bit too oversized. So I think I'm going to pass this one on to my mum, but not until I can find this fabric and make this again, because I love it and I don't want it to leave my wardrobe. It kind of reminds me of a Sezane jacket that I came across, which had a matching set of trousers, and I loved that whole outfit. But the thing that really drew me to this particular fabric is the colours. The colours are sensational. This is a cotton sateen, so it's probably also a little bit too light for a jacket, but this is actually my first jacket that I ever made, so I'm very, very proud of this one. The facing on this is a little bit messy, so that's something I definitely wish I'd done a little bit differently, but I love this. I love this. I want to make it again and make it to fit me properly. I'm going to give this one an 8 out of 10. It's super, super cute and fun. So one thing I learned about me this year is I am definitely one of those people to hop on a trend and sew a pattern because everybody else is sewing it. And I learnt my lesson with this particular make. Now, I don't hate this top. I do think it's really cute, but I have not worn it once since I made it. So this is the McCall's M8557. I do think this is really cute, but I think there's just a bit too much going on with all the bows at the front and then it being in a pink stripe and then these huge puff sleeves. I just think it's too much for me every day. It's a bit over the top, but I do really like the fabric and I like the tie front. So I think with this one, I might remove the sleeves and change the neckline to be more of a V-neck. I made a black lace crochet top like that in the summer. last year, which I'll get onto later, and I love that top. I absolutely love it. So I think something like that in this fabric I would wear a lot more than something with these huge sleeves. It's just really hard to layer under things and just really hard to style. So I'm going to give this one a 5 out of 10, sadly. And I am sad about this one because the fabric is my nan's old bed sheets. And I've made lots of things out of this and loved all of them, but this one just isn't a favourite of mine, which is a shame. But it taught me that I really need to think twice before I jump on a trend. This next dress was also due to jumping on a trend, but this was a very, very viral pattern, and it's quite similar to a couple of other dresses that I have in my wardrobe that I love. So I knew that this one was going to be one that I get a lot of wear out of. This is the very, very viral McCall's M8553, and I love this dress. It's one of my favorite things I've ever made. This is a 10 out of 10. I love it. I wear it all the time in the spring with boots, with trainers, with sandals. It's really easy to layer. I wore it in the autumn too. It's just beautiful and it's so, so comfortable. I made it in this 9-ounce stretch denim, which is soft. The pink color is sensational. And I added this really beautiful lace applique to the bodice, and it was the best thing I ever did. It was a long process and really annoying to sew on, but it makes it look so high end and just unique because there's a lot of these dresses around, and it inspired the piece I'm wearing. This was my first make of this year, and it's the same pattern with a slightly bigger sleeve made in this plum stretch cord fabric. And I've worn this one loads already, so this is such a great pattern because I wear it all the time, and frankly I could probably do with a third version in my wardrobe too. So this next make I shared on Instagram in my list of sewing fails from 2025, and so many people disagreed about this one and said it was really cute and I should try again. I have not worn it once since I made it, which is really sad, and I hate having pieces in my wardrobe that I don't wear unless they're really, really special occasion pieces. So this was a hack of a McCall's top, and there's a couple of reasons that I don't reach for this. First and foremost, the buttons. I chose these creamy coloured buttons and they're really, really obvious against the pure white fabric. They just look a little bit cheap. So those would definitely need changing. The other thing is it's got an elasticated waist, but it's also got button loops at the waist as fastening. So what you end up getting is it gaping open at the waist when you put it on, which is really, really unflattering. I just wish that it was just elasticated at the waist and you didn't have buttons there. I don't think you need it because it's elasticated. You can get it on and off. This was one of the first pieces that I ever made with a big collar. I'd also upcycled the year before a blue men's shirt with a big collar, and I never ever wore that. So I should have known really from that make, but I just don't think they really suit me. I'm not sure. There's also some really lovely details about this dress. I don't want to fully waist it because I think it's very cute, but I might remove the collar and rework the waist and change up the sleeves, maybe just be little ruffles or something like that, and I might get a lot more wear out of it because I absolutely love this fabric. It's beautiful. It's this embroidered cotton from Lullaby, so I don't want to waste that, but as it stands, I'm not a huge fan of this dress, so I'm going to give it a 6 out of 10. I think the fabric's lovely and the thought was cute, but in the end it's just not my style, which is sad. So this next piece is another dress, and it's another very puffy sleeve, cutesy dress, and I do love this one, but there's a couple of things that stop me from wearing it. I probably wore it about 5 times during the summer, but I sheared it a little bit too low, and I have a very, very hourglass figure where I go in and out at the waist to hips very, very quickly, so dropped waist stuff like that really doesn't suit me. It doesn't look great. I end up not reaching for this one because it gives me a weird shape. I do really love this, but I don't love it all together as a dress. I'm thinking about removing the sleeves and just having this as a sleeveless dress. I think I'd wear that a lot more, or I'm thinking about removing the skirt and turning it into a top. I just didn't reach for it that much, and I'm not sure I'm going to reach for it that much as it stands this year, but I love the fabric. I absolutely love this sheared bodice and all the details, and I do love the sleeves and I do love the skirt, just not all together. So I think one thing needs to go. I'm learning that I'm not quite as out there with my style as I used to be. I used to be into the really girly, like over the top kind of silhouettes and garments, but I think maybe I'm leaning into a slightly different style. So let me know what you think about this one, what you would do, whether I should just remove the sleeves or remove the skirt, or whether I should just leave it as it is and try again with the styling with a bit less shearing. Maybe I just need to adjust the fit and I'll reach for it a little bit more. We'll see. I'm going to give this one a a 7 out of 10. Okay, so next up, a top that I made back in the spring, and I love this piece. I absolutely love it. I feel like this is the better version of the pink striped top. This is what the pink striped top kind of should have been. It's really, really cute. It's really cute. It's girly, it's sweet, but it's just not too much, even with the puffy sleeves. But I think it's this fabric, because it's so beautiful and intricate, it just gives it a new level. It's really lovely, but I'm just not 100% sure that this color actually suits me. This was an example of kind of jumping on a trend, and everyone was wearing this yellow last year, and when I had blonde hair I was never ever able to wear yellow, so I thought I'd try it, but I'm not sure. I'm not 100% convinced that it actually suits me, but I love this top. It's so, so cute. Originally, when I made this top, this bit on the collar was actually stitched together, and it just meant that it kept turning upwards and it wasn't sitting straight, and it just looked a bit messy. So I ended up not reaching for this top at all, even though I love it. And then when it came to the autumn, I pulled it out of my wardrobe and decided that I needed to give it some readjusting. So I opened up the ruffle, so it almost looks like a teeny tiny collar. So I opened that up and made it a little bit pointy, and then I added this bow tie detail at the front, which I had stitched on, but it came off, so that's why it's pinned. I need to restitch that, and it looks so much better. It looks really, really cute. It's quite sheer, as you can see, but I have a little top that I wear underneath this. So yeah, I didn't get a lot of wear out of it last year, but that was because there was a couple of things going on that put me off of it. Let's see if I wear it this year. I just need to figure out if this color actually suits me, because I love, love, love this top. It's lovely to wear, and it's super, super cute. So this dress was one of the first pieces that I made during Me Made May. We had a great Me Made May last year. It was so hot, which was perfect. It meant that I could reach for all my summery pieces, and I loved it. And I wanted a dress that was like the simple kind of Reformation style dresses, with a panelled skirt, a square neckline, sheared back, and cute little sleeves, something that looks a little bit French, really sweet. And I loved this fabric. It had been in my stash for ages, so I thought I'd make it happen with this one. However, it just doesn't fit me very well anymore. It hasn't washed very well. It hasn't really held its shape, so it slips off my shoulders all the time. It kind of gapes around the waist too. It doesn't look that great, which is such a shame, because it's really, really, really cute. So I don't know whether to try and go in and fix it and make it fit a bit better, or whether I just turn this one into a skirt. Let me know what you think. I really love this, and I want to make it work. I just don't know if it's going to work with this particular fabric. I think it's a little bit too light for this kind of fitted silhouette, which is such a shame. So I'm going to give this one an 8 out of 10, because I loved it and wore it a lot initially, and then the fabric let me down. So I haven't got both of these, but one thing I did make last year, which I really loved, was a couple of easy breezy elasticated skirts with a flat waistband at the front, elasticated at the back. I made one in white and one in that light kind of lemony colour, and I do really like these skirts. I made them in a cotton poplin, so they weren't sheer or anything like that. However, I think I would have preferred it in something a little bit more drapey. I just felt that they were a bit too kind of puffy at times, which was a bit of a shame. With it being a cotton poplin, they have washed beautifully and they look really, really nice, but they just crease really quickly. They look a bit puffy and give a bit of a weird shape, so I haven't worn them a lot. I think these will probably be repurposed both. I just think a cotton poplin for sewing has to be used for such a particular garment, and I was looking for something a little bit more drapey, a little bit more easy, and I couldn't really achieve that with this fabric. But I'm definitely going to make some more skirts like this in a slightly lighter weight fabric this year, because they're such an easy piece to style and they look lovely, especially a white skirt. I feel like this is a wardrobe essential. So I'm going to give these skirts a 6 out of 10. Love the shape, love the idea, just the fabric choice again was all wrong. There's a theme here, isn't there? This is very hard to show you. This looks so crazy when it's not on the body because it looks tiny, but this was one of my favorite makes from last year. This is my hack of a simplicity pattern. I hacked this one shoulder bodice to have a sheared bodice, and this is gorgeous. I get so many compliments on this dress. I love it so much. I'm a huge fan of this. It's super, super comfy to wear. The hack was really easy to do. There's a full tutorial on it if you want to see it. It's just so pretty. It is the perfect summer dress. It's very like ice cream parlor with the pink and white stripes, but I love it. I'm going to give this one a 10 out of 10. I really love this dress and I'm going to wear it for years to come. It's super, super cute. Another summery dress, which I don't have here on the rack. I was going to pass this on to my mum and then she's decided she's going to pass it back to me for a couple of reasons. So this pattern was an old school McCall's pattern that I've made a few times and absolutely loved. And I got this really beautiful periwinkle blue cotton fabric from Rainbow, and it was really interesting. It had this laser cut detail on it, but it was almost a bit waxy, so it was very, very difficult to sew. It's washed absolutely fine though. But when I made this dress, I must have made a mistake with the sizing or something, because when I made it, it came out huge. It was just too big, and the fabric was a little bit stiff too, so it then gave me that kind of puffy effect. Just ended up not being that flattering, which was such a shame because I did actually really love how it looked. It just didn't fit me. And then I went to pass it on to my mum and she said the same thing. The fabric just doesn't really work with the silhouette of the dress, because the dress pattern is daily sleeper style. It's supposed to be very relaxed. It needs something with a little bit more drape. So I've made it before in viscose linens and that is the perfect fabric for this pattern, whereas a kind of medium weight cotton, not such a good idea. But I absolutely love the fabric from this dress. So I'm going to actually repurpose this spring and make a little top out of it because it's too good to waste. I don't want to get rid of it. Nobody's going to wear it in the dress version as it is. So at some point this year, you'll be seeing that being repurposed. In fact, if you're interested in seeing me repurposing or altering any of these garments, let me know down in the comments and I could make a little series. That could be quite fun. And speaking of repurposing garments, I started making this dress for Glastonbury Festival a couple of years ago, and I wanted to do like a cutout dress, kind of Zimmerman style, but I missed the boat with sewing it for Glastonbury, left it to last minute. And I love this fabric and I felt like a cutout dress was not going to be something I was going to reach for very much. So I wanted to repurpose it into something that I would wear a lot more. So I made this really easy pink boho style sheared dress. This is a viscose challis, so it's very lightweight. So this is perfect for kind of summer evenings and things like that. I thought I was going to wear this quite a lot in the autumn because of the kind of style of it, but I actually didn't reach for it in the autumn at all, which is a little bit strange. I don't know why, but it's got this V-neck, a little tie detail at the front because where I'd left it cut out, the neckline stretched, as you might have seen from the video if you watched it, and then I added shearing to the waist. This was originally a new look pattern, but I did quite a few hacks, so I wouldn't really say it's much like the original. I love this dress, but I haven't actually worn it that much. So I'm going to give this an 8 out of 10. I absolutely love this fabric though. This was a dead stock from Rainbow Fabrics and it's beautiful. I just wish I had a little bit more because I would have loved to have more detail on the skirt. I would have liked some more ruffles to really lean into that kind of boho style. That's the only thing that kind of lets this dress down. I feel like it needs more going on at the bottom half, but the fabric and the comfort make it a really, really lovely piece. I need to pull this out and make sure I wear it plenty this year because I feel like it's definitely not had its moment as much as it deserves. Sorry, I haven't ironed this. As I said earlier, I haven't ironed anything and you can really tell with this one. So please look past that. One of my favorite things I've ever made. I love this dress. Now, a couple of people commented on the video of this dress and said that it was too tight around my hips, but I actually wanted that fit. I wanted a bias cut dress that kind of clung to my curves and showed it off, and I loved this. It was so comfortable to wear. I made it for my friend's wedding and it's beautiful. I'd had this fabric in my stash for probably 3 or 4 years and I can't believe I left it that long because it's beautiful, but I'm glad I did wait because it meant that this dress came to life and I'm hoping I have an occasion to wear it again this summer because it's, yeah, one of my favorite pieces ever. It's beautiful. I'm going to give this a 9 out of 10. I just feel like it's one of those silhouettes that's never going to date and I'm just going to wear this on special occasions for years to come. I'm really, really happy with this one. So another summer dress and another one that looks a bit crazy off the hanger. I don't even know where the front and the back is of this one. So this is a McCall's pattern where you combine a jersey bodice with a woven skirt. And I made this particular dress inspired by a designer dress where they had this black bodice and polka dot skirt. And this is so cute. I wore this so much during the summer, probably twice a week, 3 times a week. Every time I could reach for this dress, I was reaching for it. The only thing that has let this down is the fabric on the skirt is very, very lightweight, and the dye on the polka dots has faded a little bit as it's been washed, which is a bit of a shame. So it doesn't pop quite as much as it did. Definitely need to make this pattern again this summer. There's a square neck version with straps, and there's also a round neck version with like a racer back, kind of more like a tank style, which would be really comfortable and a lot more bra friendly too. So I'm going to give this one a 9 out of 10 because I loved it. I wore it so much. It's so comfortable. I just wish the fabric on the skirt had lasted a little bit better, but it was cheap. I think I got this from Abercrombie. It was like £4 a metre, so can't really complain that much, can I? Sorry, my camera battery died. I'd obviously been talking too much, and I think we're only about halfway through. So the next thing I made was an outfit for Glastonbury Festival back in the summer. I was really inspired by these kind of lacy crochet outfits, and I wanted one for the festival. I thought it'd be a really cute Glastonbury outfit, so I got this really beautiful kind of crocheted lace black fabric off of the fabric merchant, and then I got a bias binding that had kind of like a little lace edging on it too. So I self-drafted a little kind of vest top, which I absolutely love, and then I made a really simple midi skirt with an elasticated waist that was quite straight, all self-drafted, came together really, really quickly, and I loved this outfit. I felt great in it. It's one of the first times actually that I've worn something where I kind of show a bit more skin, and I felt so confident in it. It made me feel really, really great in myself. It was lovely to wear. The only thing is the fabric was an absolute nightmare to hem. So I did French seams inside as much as I could, and they look great. But when it came to the hem on the top and the skirt, it was really difficult to get a nice finish. So it just looks a little bit messy, which is such a shame because I love this silhouette. So I'd like to try and get that out in the summer, see if I can fix it and make it work a bit better, because that outfit is gorgeous and I really, really love it. And I'd quite like to make another one in another colour too for the summer this year. I just think it's quite timeless, it's quite beachy, and it's quite fun. So I'm going to give that one a 9 out of 10. Another outfit I made for Glastonbury that wasn't so much of a success was I started making a 2-piece set in this beautiful, oh, this fabric is amazing. It's this paisley viscose satin, I think it is, from Mr. Tissue. I love this fabric. It's so, so cool. Really great festival vibes. I made a tie front top and these trousers and loved the whole outfit, but I forgot to pre-wash the fabric. Which I never do. I'm such an avid pre-washer. I always pre-wash everything and iron everything and prep it. So it's so unlike me. And on the one occasion I didn't do it, it blew up in my face. These shrunk in the wash, and they do look quite wide when I hold them up, but they're just not. They just don't fit me well across my bum and stuff. And I was so disappointed about it because this fabric is gorgeous and the whole outfit together was really fun. I think I've got a picture of me about halfway through making the top, so it's not quite finished, but I loved the whole vibe. It was really great, and it would have been great for holidays and things as well. I really don't want to waste this, so I think I'm going to see if I can either get some more and fix these trousers by adding in an extra panel at the side or something, or I might see if I can take it apart and maybe turn it into a shirt or something instead. It's just beautiful. I love all the colours in it, and I was so gutted that it shrunk. So I'm gonna have to give this one a 5 out of 10, but purely based on my mistakes, and learn from me, always pre-wash your fabrics because it's not worth it. So I thought that was everything that I'd made during the summer, but I forgot about my beach dress, the blue and white beach maxi dress. This went on my sewing fail list as well because I have discovered I am not an empire waist kind of girl. It just does not suit me. I am a very curvy girl. I have a small waist and big hips, so anything that doesn't show that my waist is a bit smaller doesn't look good on me, and this dress was definitely one of them. It was really comfortable to wear and the fabric is amazing and really cool. It just didn't work. So when summer comes around, this one is either going to be a 2-piece with just the top and the skirt separately, or I'm going to add some kind of waistband because as it stands, it just doesn't look cute. And although it was lovely to wear on the beach, I thought at the time they looked okay. And then recently when I look back at videos, I could really see that it was very unflattering on me. So that one is another one that needs some major adjustments. There's a lot of those this year. And one thing I want you to take away from this video is I have been sewing for over 10 years and I still make mistakes. I still make things that don't suit me. So if you ever have a sewing fail or you make something that doesn't really suit you, we all have that. even the most experienced sewists. I know there's a lot of videos like this out there at the moment where people have got like 50 garments on a rail and they're saying how amazing everything is. That's not always the reality. Well, it's certainly not my reality. So if you ever feel like a failure because you've made something that you don't love, don't worry about it. We all do it, but we move on, we learn from our mistakes, and we make things that we absolutely do love. Like this next top, which is another one of my favorite things I've ever made. I love this top, and it introduced me to this pattern, which has become one of my favorite patterns of all time. So this was very Sezane inspired, and I think it's very Sezane vibes. It's so cute. I had this cotton in my stash for ages, waiting for the right project. I only had under 1.5 meters, maybe even less than 1.5 meters, maybe even 1.2. So this was a squeeze, and it ended up being a little bit shorter than I would have liked, but I love this top. I love it so much. It's absolutely adorable. I used my rolled hem setting on the overlocker to get this kind of lacy effect around the neckline. Sorry, it really needs an iron. And then I sheared the sleeves to make it super comfortable, but I just love it. It's a very 70s vibe kind of blouse, but very Sezane, very timeless. And I wear this so much. I loved it so much that when I used a very special Liberty fabric, which you'll see this make a little bit later on, I chose this pattern, and I'm planning on making a white one of these as well. It's so cute. So I'm going to give this one a 10 out of 10, even though it's a little bit short. I don't care. It's super cute. On to another make from the early autumn. Now this dress I haven't worn much at all because I definitely feel like I made it in the wrong season. This is definitely more spring than autumn, I think. Or maybe even more summer, because it's a very lightweight cotton lawn, but this fabric is so beautiful. I got this from Roy's Material World at the Stitch Festival, and it's just got the most sensational shades of pink and orange popping through. It's really pretty. So this is McCall's M7595. No, I don't think it is. I can't remember the number. I'm so sorry. But I will link it down in the description box. There is a full video for making this dress too on my channel. It's really cute. The only thing about this dress is the neckline is very low. And although I feel like it looks nice, I don't feel that comfortable when I wear it, which is such a shame because the fit of the bodice is amazing. I feel like the whole silhouette is really cute. I just haven't reached for it that much because it feels a bit too booby for every day. But I feel like in the summer, barbecues, dinners, things like that, I'm going to wear this a lot more. So I'm going to give this one an 8 out of 10, I think. I'd like to go back and revisit this pattern at some point and see if we can bring that neckline even higher, because this kind of elasticated detail is really cute. But there's a little bit too much cleavage for just running everyday errands, in my opinion. I always get very excited when I look at this next piece because it's for my inner horse girl, and if you're a horse girl you'll probably like this one too. I love this blouse. It's very laid back, it's very Chloe vibes, and the print is amazing. Absolutely amazing. The only thing that irritates me is because this is a viscose sateen, so it's quite a slippery viscose, the tie on the neckline moves all the time, so I need to stitch that down to stop that from happening, because it just means that it kind of opens up the whole neckline. Then I end up with my boobs out, so it's a bit much, but this is so cute. So cute. One of my favorite things I've ever made. I haven't worn it that much, mainly because it needs to be worn with jeans, and I am having an issue with jeans at the moment. I can't find a pair that fit me. So one of my missions for 2026 is to make some. So once I've got the perfect pair of jeans, I will be wearing this all the time because I love this blouse so much. The fabric is amazing. It's so cute. And it's got horses on it. So this one gets a 9 out of 10 from me. I nearly forgot this next piece, and this was actually my birthday dress from this year. So I made this Pinterest inspired dress. I saw a dress with this rickrack detail on the bodice and on the straps and loved it. I thought it was such a cute idea. So I decided to create my own. I actually made this on the morning of my birthday. So parts of it are a little bit rough around the edges, I can't lie. The rickrack's actually not that comfortable as straps. It was really irritating actually, and having it here on the neckline was making even though I understitched everything, it meant that the lining rolled over, which was really annoying. So actually, although it was cute, I was not a fan. I was not a fan. It was really annoying, and it just kept making the bodice of the dress not sit in the right place. So I'm actually going to revisit this one as well, and I'm going to remove all of the rickrack detail, and I'm just going to add some lovely long sleeves, make it a bit more simplified, similar to my red spotty version at the beginning of the video, but a little bit of a kind of more autumn winter friendly one that I can pop on with boots, because it's got this beautiful kind of panelled skirt with an elasticated back, but but the bodice situation just isn't working with this rickrack. It was a nice idea, it just ended up being really irritating. So I only wore it once or twice, and I love this fabric so much, so I don't want to waste it. I also really like the fit of the bodice and the skirt. I just need this to go and it to be something a little bit more comfortable because it gives me a sensory overload. So I'm going to give this one a 7 out of 10. I think the idea was nice, it looked really cute on the day, but actually the comfort and longevity of it isn't great, so it just needs a few tweaks to make it a 10 out of 10. Okay, so the next garment is definitely made by the amazing fabric. I got this fabric from a D-stash, and when I was about to sew it, I couldn't decide whether I liked the right side or the wrong side more, because they're both perfectly wearable, really, really beautiful. So I decided that I wanted to make something reversible, and originally I was going to do like a wrap skirt, but it just got a bit too complicated and I didn't have that much fabric. So I decided to stick to the basics and just do, similar to my white skirt earlier in the video, a skirt with a flat waistband at the front and elastic at the back. And this meant that I could make it fully reversible. So I did flat felled seams at the side. I did the hem on my overlocker with the rolled hem setting, and then for the waistband I cut the waistband in 4 pieces. So you have the orange part of the waistband, the black part of the waistband on the outside, and I did elastic at the back, and I hand stitched everything down so it looks really, really neat on both sides. I was so chuffed with this project because it took so much thinking to figure it out, and actually when it got down to it, it was really, really simple to make, but well worth it because it's one skirt that I can wear in so many different ways. The only thing is this fabric is actually very, very delicate, so I have to wear it very, very carefully. So for that reason, I'm going to give it a 9 out of 10, but I was very, very pleased with this skirt and I've worn it a lot. Another very proud make from this year, my second jacket that I ever made and my first ever reversible jacket. I got this fabric from Guthrie Ghani when we went to visit back in the autumn, and I loved both sides so much I wanted to make a reversible jacket. But as somebody who has never made a reversible jacket before, I decided I was going to tweak a pattern that wasn't a reversible jacket and kind of wing it. And luckily it paid off. It actually ended up being really, really cute, but it definitely could have gone horribly wrong. The only thing that let this jacket down, which you'll know if you watch the video, is I used a viscose sateen for the binding and it was a pig to work with and it looks horrible. Don't look too close at it. It just wouldn't sit flat, it wouldn't iron, it wouldn't hold its shape. It was an absolute nightmare. So if I could go back and change things, that's what I would change. I would just use a nice cotton bias binding and simplify things because I would have got a much better finish. But overall, I'm still really happy with how I got on with it, considering it was my first reversible jacket, but I know I could have got that finish better if I didn't have that stupid bias binding. So that was annoying. I've only worn this a couple of times because it's quite a lightweight quilted jacket. It's also on the smaller side. I didn't want it oversized, so I can't layer big chunky things underneath it. So I haven't reached for it loads because we've gone from it being really warm in the autumn to it being really, really cold quite quickly. But I think I'll get a lot of wear out of this one in the spring. I'm excited to style it in lots of different ways. In fact, I actually think it would look really, really cute with the dress I'm wearing. I might give that a go one day. But overall, I'm really happy with this jacket. I absolutely love this fabric and it saved me a lot of effort as it came pre-quilted, double-sided already. So I'm going to give this one an 8 out of 10 because it's really cute, but the finish is not the best. Maybe I could go and fix that one day, but it's too much effort for me to even think about right now. So another thing I made this year, but it's not on the rack and I don't know where it is, it's packed away. I made a sequin 2-piece with the free cowl neck halter top pattern from Unfettered Patterns, and I self-drafted an elasticated kind of pencil skirt for the bottom in this really beautiful sequin velvet fabric. I loved this outfit. The skirt is my favourite piece. I wore the skirt for my friend's hen do. I wore it for a couple of nights out over Christmas time and I wore it for the party as well. So I absolutely love the skirt. The top I don't love as much just because it's a little bit itchy because of the way that it had to be finished, and it's obviously a party piece, so it's not something I wear as much. So the skirt I'm going to give a 9 out of 10 because I love that so much, but the top I'll probably give a 7 out of 10 just because of the comfort aspect of it. But when I wore it out, it was absolutely fine, but that was probably because I'd had quite a few espresso martinis. On to the last couple of pieces now. At least I think they're the last couple of pieces. I hope that I have everything and I've remembered everything. I'm sure there'll be something that I've forgotten. But here is my Christmas Day dress. I was really happy with this. It was a little bit rushed, so the finish on the inside is not great, but that's something I can go back and fix for next Christmas. It was super comfy to wear because it's got an elasticated panel at the back. It's a little bit 80s with the big sleeves and the dropped waist, but it was a lovely, lovely fit. I really, really rate this pattern for the fit. I've managed to get it to perfection and it comes together really, really quickly. I just wish that I'd tapered the sleeves in at the end a little bit more. That is the only thing that I would change about this dress, but it's really festive, really fun, and it was perfect for stuffing my face. I will be pulling this out around Christmas time every year for years to come, so I'm gonna give this one a 9 out of 10. Right, we're finally on to the last piece, and my favorite thing I made this year, you'll probably have guessed what this is, my Liberty top. This is in the McCall's M7977 pattern that I used for the orange top earlier that I loved, and I'm just obsessed with this top. I love it so much. It's in this really, really special festive Liberty fabric that I got from Fabric Godmother in their Black Friday sale. It's got metallic stars on it and this William Morris style print. It's just really special. The colours are amazing. I love it. I've worn it loads. Every time I put it on, it just makes me so happy because it just feels so special. And also it's really, really, really comfortable to wear. So it's perfect for loads of different occasions. I did alter the pattern a little bit with this one. I added a ruffle around the neckline just to make it a little bit more fancy, and I made the ruffle here a little bit bigger too. I also gave the sleeves a bit of an alter and added some gathering at the top of the sleeve just to make them a little bit more puffy. But aside from that, it's pretty much the pattern. I love this pattern so much, and combined with this fabric, it's a 10 out of 10, 100 out of 10. It is going to stay in my wardrobe for years to come, and you're going to see it on this channel for years to come. Even though it's a festive fabric, I've worn it in loads of different ways. I'm just obsessed with this top, and I also really took my time with the finish, and it shows. It's beautifully made, if I do say so myself, so I'm very, very proud of this one, and I just love it. It makes me really, really happy. 1,000 out of 10, 1,000 out of 10 for this one. So that's everything I think that I made in 2025. There's some really good pieces, but also some not great pieces. And I feel like for me, 2025 was one of my least successful years for sewing. I know you'll be looking at that rack and wondering what I'm talking about, but there's a lot of pieces on here that I don't love. And I'm at that point in my sewing journey where I should like a lot more. So going forward into 2026, I have learned that I need to be a lot more intentional about what I make. So I'm not making pieces that I don't love and that I don't wear. I want a very, very wearable wardrobe, which is something that I talked about in my 2026 sewing goals. So if you're interested, I have actually started creating a list of pieces that I'm going to make in 2026 that I think I'm going to wear loads. And if you want to see a separate video about that and about those sewing plans, let me know down in the comments. But I learned a lot of lessons in 2025. There are a lot of highs and a lot of lows when it came to sewing. I spent a lot more time away from my sewing machine than I normally would, but I think I was just trying to find my style and realizing that a lot of things like this, for example, that I would have loved, and this would have 100% been my style a couple of years ago, just aren't my style anymore. My style is starting to change and adapt. So that's going to be interesting going forward into 2026, seeing where that kind of style journey takes me and what I end up making throughout this year. As I said earlier, any sew-alongs, any pattern details, everything like that will be down in the description box. If you want more information about the patterns, it's a lot for me to remember off the top of my head. So I've probably said incorrect pattern numbers at times, so definitely go down there to check out the information. I'll make sure I've got it right. Let me know which one of these pieces is your favorite, and if you disagree with any of the sewing fails that I've mentioned and the pieces that I don't like so much. Hopefully 2026 is going to be a much more successful year in terms of sewing, and I'll make a lot more things that I actually love. I've got a lot of lessons to learn, and I got a journey to go on this year, I think. So stay tuned to see what I make this year. But thank you so much for watching today's video. I really appreciate you being here, and I will see you in the next one. Have a great week and happy sewing. Take care. Bye.